So, ah,
I'm going to be creating a game without any knowledge on how to. Alright. Yeah, so you see, I can't really do anything right now. I can't do anything. Can't even go to the console tab.
Wow.
Gravity waveform. Tutorial 2. So, how was your day so far, Max? In the hierarchy.
Mm, 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 mm,
Buddy. Ipi ipi apa apa upi upi apa apa a I u I u I u I oop oops oops oops. Ipi ipi apa apa upi upi apa apa api opi opi opi. Chippy chippy choppa chippy chippy choppa choppa shooby shooby shoppa shoppa. Shooby 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 shoo 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 shoo. Food. Food. pee 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 pa 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 poopy poopy. I just need to install the WebGL module. Yeah. Eh. 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 Just casually. Eh. 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 Can I download it? No. Can I download it now, please? Buddy, please. Oh. Please. Guess we're gonna watch YouTube for a bit. Oh, cool, boy.
Zorro.com knows that every job is...
Did you know you can AFK Bloods and Zaya whilst learning to code in Python? Go to boot.dev. We've known our students to pull it off. Here's how. Monitor 1, code. Monitor 2, level rune crafting. Before you know it, you'll have written thousands of lines of real code and even knocked out that Karamja Elite Diary rune crafting requirement. Use code AFKBloods for 25% off.
But I will also be spending some of that time learning about some better techniques to train AI, like deep Q learning and PPO. I didn't know. How could I have known? Don't look at me. I'm a changed man. The code bullet you knew and loved is no more. I've seen shit, I've done shit you couldn't even imagine. One doesn't simply learn Q learning. It changes you, it changes and distorts you into everything you once hated. I'm sorry, this needs to be a little more dramatic. Can we make this black and white, please? Thank you. All right, where were we? All right, it changes you, man. I found myself saying things I once despised. Things like, Python isn't even that bad, and I guess we don't need semicolons after all. All right, Let's start from the beginning. To set the scene, the year is 2018. People were still saying things like, I can't wait for YouTube Rewind, and TikTok will never catch on. It was a simpler time. A young, naive code bullet was planning on learning something new over Christmas. Something quality, something quite quaint, something quizzically questioning, something... Wait, hold on. Quenched? No, that makes no f***ing sense. Wow, that was a long intro. Holy shit, I am sorry. I didn't really know how to transition out of talking like a dickhead, so I'm sure by now most of you... Wait, hold on. Oh, I don't feel so good. Oh shit, it's coming. Okay, there's no stopping it now. Fuck, oh god, it hurts. Oh, they said it wouldn't hurt. Oh god, okay. Okay, I'm okay. Okay, I dig it. I can work with this. It's about time I got an upgrade. Like, the fact that my arms are actually attached to my body, that's a nice feature. So it's about... Okay, fuck. Oh shit, it's coming. I can work with this. It's about time I got an upgrade. Like, the fact that my arms are actually attached to my body, that's a nice feature. So a huge thanks to an artist I've been working with over the past few months who goes by Dachi. He really does great work and I was really happy with the results, so you should check him out on Instagram at dachi.art. Link in description. Anyway, back to it. I'll drop the shitty PTSD vibe we had going and deal with the pain of the project like I normally do, through depressed laughter. So I'm sure by now most of you are asking, what the f is a Q learning? I'm not going to go into a large amount of details because I'm a man with limited number of f***s to give, and I also don't really know what I'm talking about. However, that has never stopped me in the past, but I will do my best to explain the gist of it. So in my previous projects, whenever I made a learning AI, I used NEAT, which is essentially an attempt to copy evolution in nature. In a nutshell, to neatify a program, you need to essentially in the gist of it. So in my previous projects, whenever I made a learning AI, I used NEAT, which is essentially an attempt to copy evolution in nature. In a nutshell, to neatify a program, you need to generate a bunch of random players and then test them out. The ones that do better are allowed to breed, and thus the next generation is filled with the best players. Then the best of them are chosen, and this process repeats until they're pretty good at the thing they're doing. But there is a problem. This really isn't learning. It's just kind of selective breeding. It's like if you want to have a child who can jump really high. Instead of teaching them to jump, you just sit it on the floor and see what it does. If the kid sits there and... yeah, actually, look, this analogy isn't the best, and I don't really want to go into the details of murdering and selective breeding babies who are genetically designed to jump. The point is, this isn't how humans learn, which is essentially the goal of all learning AIs. God managed to find a way to do it without slaughtering millions of babies, so maybe we should follow his example. This is where Q learning comes in. It's basically a carrot and stick approach to learning. If by chance an AI does something which we want to encourage, say it gets a coin in Mario or it subscribes to PewDiePie, we want to give it a reward. If it does something bad, like driving a car into a wall or using coriander as a garnish, we give it a smack. Of course, the reward is just a number, but you do not want to underestimate how much AIs love numbers. They f***ing live for numbers. F***ing addicts. Not like me though. I'm clean now. Sure, numbers are amazing and everything, but that's in my past. So Q learning is like that. They do good, you give them a reward. They do bad, you punish them. So at the beginning, the AIs just do some random shit, and the AIs will gain experience and learn what to do and what not to do. A real basic example I made when I was just starting out on this journey was I made a mouse that wants to find some cheese. So at the start, a mouse doesn't know what happens if it touches a cat, nor does it know that touching the cheese is a good thing. It just moves randomly until it gets attacked by cats a few times and figures out that cats are dicks. And that is much more of a dog kind of mouse. It eventually randomly stumbles into cheese and then learns that cheese is life. And then from there on, it can associate cats with a negative reward and cheese with a positive reward. It also associates the area around the cheese with a positive reward because it knows that getting into these spaces will get it closer to that sweet, sweet cheese. And then the spaces around those spaces also become positive, and then this is repeated until every space is given a numerical value based on how good it is to be at that space. So as the spaces get closer to the cheese, they're given a higher value. Then all the AI needs to do each turn is to move to the highest value possible, and eventually that will lead it to the cheese. Okay, so as interesting as a mouse trying to find some cheese is, let's get to the meat of this video. It's car time. Okay, so we're gonna do like a top-down car driving game sort of thing. So let's start with a basic rectangle which goes up and down in a similar way to how a car would move. Okay, so pretty simple. Let's try to get that bad boy turning. All right, fantastic. Now, the true question is, can it do both at the same time? And the answer is no. No, it cannot. All right, so that wasn't supposed to be difficult, but you never know on this channel. All right, so for this game, we're gonna need a track, and the car's gonna need to stay on the track. If it hits the side of the track, then the dickhead dies. Simple shit. So we're gonna need a way of detecting when the car collides with the sides of the track. Okay, how are we gonna do this? Basically, the track is gonna be made up of a bunch of lines, which are the edges of the track. Then we need to check if the rectangle representing the car is overlapping any of these lines. If so, then we kill the car.
But how do we know if the rectangle is overlapping the lines?
Great question, mate. So there exists a formula.
How do we know if the rectangle is overlapping the lines?
Great question, mate. So there exists a formula which can tell you if two lines are intersecting. So what we need to do is convert the rectangle into 4 lines and then check if any of those lines making up the car intersect with any of the walls of the track. And if so, then we got a hit. Here's a cheeky demo showing off the collision detection. Very nice. And now we just need to make a track out of lines. Something like this, only good. So I tried making the car a little bit smaller, and while technically the car is smaller, another problem has emerged. Yeah, so I should probably fix that. All right, let's make the actual track. Fantastic, we've got the game pretty much done, and the final thing we need to do before we add the AI is how the AI is going to actually see the environment. So the car is going to see in a similar way to how bats and shit use echolocation. Basically, we're going to send out lines in many directions from the car and get the distances to the walls in those directions. To do this, we can just use our trusty old line formula. Not only can this bad boy tell you whether or not 2 lines are intersecting, it can also tell you the exact point they are intersecting, which allows us to get the distance to the walls in a given direction. So 1 line is great and all, but let's add a couple more. Hell yeah, looking good. Now we can actually remove the track and you can see exactly how the car sees. Okay, one final but very necessary addition is drifting for days. Woo! And away. Okay, that's probably a little too much. Yeah, so I dialed it back and we are good to go. Okay, fantastic. It is time to AI that bitch. And while I have done plenty of AIing in my day, there's a special place in hell just for this one, right next to coriander. So we've seen some basic Q learning in action with the mouse thing. However, to make Q learning truly powerful, you're gonna have to chuck in some neural networks. So we're basically combining an attempt to copy a human brain with an attempt to copy how humans learn. It's good shit. I don't normally use libraries while coding, but for this project, there is no way I could do everything from scratch. And for my audience who doesn't code, when programmers say shit like, I'm going to be using libraries, that's just fancy talk for I'm way too lazy to do it myself, so I'm just stealing someone else's code. So I'm going to use a very popular machine learning library called TensorFlow, which basically handles all the fancy neural network stuff for me. The only problem is TensorFlow is written in Python. However, I usually code in JavaScript, but luckily there is a JavaScript version introducing TensorFlow.js. So great. So I spent the next few days trying to learn how to use this bloody library. And to use this library, you're going to need to know how to use a myriad of other fancy JavaScript stuff, which I didn't sign up for, like promises and just other, it's a mess. So yeah, and after about 2 to 3 days of just watching coding train videos later, finally figured out how to use TensorFlow.js. Now I'm ready to attempt to write the Q-learning algorithm. It was at this point in this project where I had my first major aneurysm, which was triggered by something known as placeholders. So to explain this, you're going to need to understand that TensorFlow.js is a pretty good copy of the original TensorFlow, which is written in Python. And for the most part, it does a decent job. However, something I found out after learning TensorFlow.js was that it doesn't have something known as placeholders. And I don't want to go into the details, but I fucking need it.
I don't have Discord sounds on, so that's why I can't hear anything.
Huh?
Let me try to turn it down. I cannot hear what you're saying. I'm close and reopen. Let's hear again. Let's hear again.
Hi.
Bye.
Why'd you leave? What? Are you okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Did placeholders. I've only got like 2 days of experience with this shit.
Love games but hate the grind? With WeMod, you can be invincible, unimaginably wealthy,
Hey guys, it has been a while since my last project, but I'm not going to apologize because that's pretty much becoming my new intro, and honestly, I'm not super thrilled about that. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. Instead of making a game like I usually do, I'm going to be giving the AIs a body, and they will kind of attempt to learn to control that body. Kind of like a baby giraffe learning to walk, or like a computer science student learning to socialize. It's basically going to be like the game Evolution. If you don't know what Evolution is, you basically play God a little bit and build a creature, and that fucker kind of flops around until it learns to walk. Although I'm not going to be copying it exactly because, well, first of all, that's low-key intellectual property theft, but also because I do have some problems with it. Well, it's more like some things I would do differently, and I just want to make it clear that Evolution, I'm not going to be copying it, play student learning to social, attempt to learn. It's basically going to be like the game Evolution. If you don't know what Evolution is, you basically play God a little bit and build a creature, and that fucker kind of flops around until it learns to walk. Although I'm not going to be copying it exactly because, well, first of all, that's low-key intellectual property theft, but also because I do have some problems with it. Well, it's more like some things I would do differently, and I just want to make it clear that Evolution is amazing and fantastic and a top-tier game. I fucking love it. I say that because my channel's kind of got to the point where whenever I insult something or someone, they usually hear about it, which is fantastic. But I'm not going to stop ripping people off because that's like 90% of my content nowadays. So I'll just compliment them before I insult them. That way they can't be mad. So the game's good. Now that I've got that out of the way, let me tell you why it's shit. First of all, the creatures don't really have any substance to them. They're just kind of made of bones and muscle, which means they just kind of flop around. So instead I'm going to make my creatures out of a bunch of 2D shapes. Like here's a circle with some legs. Pretty simple, right? Although to make this creature an evolution, well, let's just say good luck. Kill me! The second thing that I'm going to change is the way in which the players move around. Evolution works with muscles, which is pretty dope, and it's much more similar to how actual creatures get around than what I'm going to do. But I think it's more intuitive to have motors on the joints instead of having a ton of muscles. Like back to our little circle dude, instead of connecting up a complicated webbing of muscles to try and move the damn thing, we can just say, okay, this creature can move by rotating these joints. The third thing to improve is the evolution algorithm. The one the creator used is rather basic, and I'm not saying it's not impressive, it's just not exactly the most advanced evolution algorithm. For people who've been watching me for a while, this is the same algorithm that I used on my very first videos. So as an upgrade, I'll be slapping on the best evolutionary algorithm I know, which is neat. Also, this way, you guys have something to say in the comments section while pretending to have a sense of humor. You fucking idiots. The final thing is, evolution is great for simple creatures, which has only a couple of joints and muscles. Something like this. However, as soon as you try to make more complicated creatures, it struggles. This is mainly caused by the game shitting itself when you try to simulate more than 30 complicated creatures at once. And if you dare to dream and set it to simulate 100 at a time, then the game just actually fucking dies. So I'll be trying to improve the efficiency a lot. Now I just gotta put my money where my mouth is and actually build the damn thing. Because funnily enough, shitting on something is significantly easier than making it yourself. Alright, so we're gonna need to use physics engines to simulate the movement of the creatures. And you know what that means? It's Box 2D time! Woohoo! So for people who don't know, I've had a bit of a complicated relationship with Box 2D. It's kind of a love-hate sort of relationship. No, that's a lie. There's no love here. Although on this day, I will put this feud behind me because we are making a Box 2D editor. Woo! So previously, in order to make anything in Box 2D, let's say a 2D box, which has got to be the simplest fucking thing anybody could make, you have to specify the position of the body, the rotation of the body, the position of the box within the body, the rotation of the box within the body, the width and the height of the box within the body, the density of the box, the restitution of the box, the friction of the box, whether the box is kinematic, static, or dynamic, and do all that while dealing with multiple coordinate systems. And then if you fuck up any of this, the whole program decides it's a good idea to smash a pound of cocaine and whip the fuck out. And once you've done all that, you end up with this. Very nice. That's not even mentioning how to define more complicated shapes, how to connect objects together in the kind of concave shapes because it shits itself, and then you have to define vertices clockwise or it shits itself, and everything is so fucking complicated, and I'm getting fucking triggered. Sorry, I'm just reliving my previous traumatic experiences. I'll be alright. Alright, so what's the plan to fix it? Well, instead of defining everything hyper-specifically in the program, I want to build a program to handle all that shit for me and just tell it I want a fucking box. There are programs which already exist which do this sort of thing, but I eventually want to incorporate this into the evolutionary program game thing. Also, it costs like $50. You fucking kidding me? I can make this in like an hour. Easy, easy. See? Easy, mate. I don't even completely regret this decision. Not at all. So I built the thing, it only cost me my sanity and the lower portion of my body. Look, it's gone. I don't even know how that happened. It's been a hell of a week. Let's give you a tour of my most recent source of PTSD, my Box 2D editor. So remember how much of a bitch it was to make a fucking box fallen? Let me show you how quick and easy it is now. Oi, give me a box, mate. Nah, a bit bigger, eh? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, woo! So what if you're a fucking madman and want to simulate more than a box? Well, just sit the fuck down and watch some history being made. Boom, we got a circle. Look at that shit. You want a triangle? Easy. You want pyramids? We got it. Okay, so you get it. It does shit. You can like connect objects and joints and shit. It does shit. It does shit. Okay, right, that's enough fucking around. Let's make a creature. There he is. What a beast. Let's play it. Let's go gadget physics. Oh wait, yep. Sorry. My bad. That makes sense. And strike. Okay, sorry. Okay, so we probably should attach stuff together. Luckily, it's super easy in your boy's editor. Yeah, so you can drag him around and stuff and fling him all over the place, and you can send him to fucking orbit. Woo! Is he coming back? Oh, there he is, and he's gone. And you can try to drag him through the ground, which basically breaks everything. Kill me! I just want to die! Ah. Okay, so we got an editor to make creatures in. Now we just need to slap on some meat onto these bad boys and grant them the glorious gift of life, only to kill them seconds later. When the AI overlords take over, I'm gonna be fucked, aren't I? I'm gonna be like the first to die. No, I'll be right. So in order for the players to be able to move around, they will be able to control the motors which are attached to the leg joint. So if you want to move the leg, you can just kind of like rotate it like this, and you get it, it's not hard. So I probably should have put limits on how far they can rotate each joint so they can't fucking do this. But I thought it would be funny to let them get their freak on.
Why are we still here?
Okay, so we know how the AI dudes can move, but how are they going to see? In order for the AIs to move intelligently, they will have to have a way of perceiving their environment. Without this, it would be like asking you to walk without your sense of sight, touch, balance, where the fuck your leg is, taste. I mean, that last one's not especially important, but you get the point. It would not be ideal. So what are the players going to see? We'll give them a sense of where the fuck their leg is by telling them the angle each joint is in and the current speed of each joint. We'll also have a very basic sense of touch, which tells it if the legs are touching the ground. It'll also know its rotation, so I guess you could equate that to like a sense of balance if you want to be bullshitty and poetic. And it also knows its current height off the ground. Okay, very nice. The fuckers can move and the fuckers can see. So it's party time. Okay, so I'm only going to be showing the top player of each round, but there are actually hundreds of players behind the scenes. Wait, let me show you. Oh my god. Oh, that was terrifying. Okay, sorry, I did not expect that to look like such a pile of limbs and death. And I don't know why I started recording this at Generation 4, but who the fuck cares? So we got a guy doing some leg rubbies, then a jump. Now he's going to whip out some leg claps. Classic stuff, good form. Alright, so by Generation 5, they've figured out the rolly tactic. Good choice, really utilizing those inhuman knee joints. Very nice. So there are no real improvements until like Generation 12, where they learn something which looks almost like a walk. Yeah, not gonna lie, it's probably not the most efficient walk I've ever seen. Oh, and he's fucked it. Oh wait, no, what a recovery. Fucking nailed that. So after about 30 generations, it's learned to walk like a human and actually looks really natural. I'm just kidding, we got a long way to go. Here he is. So he starts off with a flip, which everyone knows is the most efficient way to begin a running race. Then he does some El Scissory-Doos for a few seconds, and that somehow works. Then does a massive jump and fucking karate kicks the air. Then he seems to forget which way his body's supposed to go and then crawls off the screen like the abomination he is. And after 16 more generations of learning, the AI has learned to, well, let me just show you. Oh, okay, so he just kind of falls over and then has a I mean, what the fuck? And he's gone. So it appears the AI has already figured out how to exploit the physics engine by rubbing its feet together, apparently. Fucking stupid. Evan, how did you fix this? Oh, that was actually really easy. Barely an inconvenience. I just didn't. So let's pray that doesn't happen again. Moving on. So, that was attempt 1 of learning, and well, there are some things which didn't quite work out the way I wanted to. And as fun as it is to watch the player distort the human figure into ways which will probably summon the devil, I want them to move somewhat like a human. I should also probably say that at this point, I am yet to decide on the aesthetics of this program, so that'll be changing multiple times from here on out. So you are welcome for that. Hey, this one's actually looking pretty good. Like, you could actually call that a walk. I'm feeling really good about this run through. I think this could be a oh my god, fuck you! Fuck you! Oh. Billie Jean, stop my love. Oh, that's not good. Okay, so the Billie Jean runner actually turned out to a pretty decent run if you trained it for only 1,860 fucking generations. Okay, I'm done, kind of. I've still got to make it a bit sexier, but she's working just fine. But let me tell you some of the changes I've made. Probably the most important change was the fact that players die if their heads or body touches the ground. This forces the AI to learn to walk upright because if they don't, they f***ing die, which I've found to be a pretty good motivator. I also f***ed up the neat algorithm a little bit, so fixing that is pretty important. The last thing I added, and I think you guys are gonna love this, I added a fucking death laser. Why? Fuck you, that's why. I do what I want, and what I want is a death laser. And it certainly adds a sense of move or you f***ing die to the game. It's good. I like it. Fucking run, boys! Okay, so it's time to make it sexy as hell. I would normally add a time-lapse here of me creating the art and shit for it with some crisp royalty-free music, but I tried that and my screen capture software died, and I sure as hell ain't doing that again. So here it is. Yeah, so I went for a kind of sciencey laboratory sort of aesthetic. It's got your metallic floors, it's got your black and yellow tape, because at Code Bullet, safety is our top priority. I would wink, but I don't really have a face, so wait, here we go. Safety is our top priority. You're welcome. And also, if you look to the left, you might have noticed the massive fucking laser, which is evaporating everything it touches. Yeah! I'm proud of that fucking laser. But there is one more thing that I need to add. Okay, here we go. Hiding faces really makes it so much more brutal. Holy shit, I love it. Ready? Watch this. No, run! Run, it's coming! Oh my god! It's so desperate. No! No! What's also great about the laser is by changing its speed, you also affect how the players evolve. For example, if you increase the speed of the laser, the players will learn to desperately run to the right with very little concern for their lives. They kind of just dive to the right. But if you have a slow speed, the players will learn to walk in a slower but more stable manner, because they will die if they fall over. Okay, fuck, this has been a long video, but it is time to show off the final product. So I'll be showing you two evolution run-throughs, one with a higher laser speed and one with a slower one. Because the laser goes really quickly, it hardly gives me any time to say anything, but I will do my best. So for the first generation, they are all chucked into the world with no knowledge of how to do anything, so understandably, pretty much all of them die instantly. The best the players can manage at this point is to simply fall to the right, which allows them to survive the wrath of the death laser for a little bit longer. Like I said before, having them all on the screen makes it difficult to understand what's going on, so let's just show the best of each generation. Honestly, nothing really improves for a while. Most of the AIs just learn to jump to the right instead of simply falling. It's not until generation 54 where we get our first attempt at an actual run. Too bad it's shit. However, over the generations, this is perfected. Although these runs aren't fantastic because they are kind of just running on their knees, which is easier for them because they don't have to balance on their legs. However, staying on their feet would allow them to run much faster. And it also means you won't need knee replacements by the age of 13, so win-win. However, after generation 85, nature finds a way. Look at him go, and he's dead. But now that they've figured out running on their feet is much faster, they start making progress really quickly. Unfortunately, it's as good as the AIs get, because at this speed, a more stable run is not an option. I was actually really surprised that they even made it this far. Alright, let's watch the whole process again, but with a slower laser. Most of this is going to be very similar, so I can't be bothered commenting on it, but you're a big boy, you can figure it out. Alright, so yeah, this guy just fucking dies. Yeah, so the kind of only small improvements until generation 49, where it learns to run at a pace where it can keep up with the laser for a bit. That is until it trips and dies, like a fucking legend. By generation 80, there's huge breakthrough which almost doubles the distance traveled. What changed, you ask? I don't fucking know. It looks about the same to me, but evidently it's a fair bit faster. However, it still isn't fast enough because you can see the laser slowly closing the gap over time. It's not until generation 122 where the player learns a run which is actually fast enough to keep up with the laser. Although clearly it isn't foolproof because apparently it dies about 400 meters. Oh my god! What the fuck? Why? Oh, I get it. I know what happened. fucking stupid. So when I created the level, I just set the ground to be like a rectangle and just made it fuck off huge and then called it a day. It's not like infinite or anything, so I clearly didn't expect them to get this far, so that's something. I'm not fixing that. Fuck that. Let me ask you a little question. You want to be learning, but you ain't got no damn time to be learning? Well, I'm with you all the way. Between going to uni, doing Code Bullet, and binge watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I haven't got no free time. But you know what they say? If you can't find time, make time. I'm talking on the bus, on the train, while driving a Tesla. What? Are you having dinner with your parents? All of this is wasted time, which you could be spending learning. Well, I have the solution for you. Brilliant.org's new offline courses allow you to do just that. Download any of the dozens of interactive courses through the mobile app, and you'll be able to solve fascinating problems in math, science, and computer science, no matter where you are or how bad your internet connection is. What's awesome about these courses is they're totally interactive. You use rockets to model algebraic functions, learn to program in Python by drawing stuff, and learn probability by playing casino blackjack. Or, I guess you could continue to listen to your family talk about the property market. Sure, your choice. So, if you want to support my channel and get unlimited access to all of Brilliant.org's in-depth math and science courses, you can head over to Brilliant.org/CodeBullet to get 20% off their annual premium subscription. So that's pretty much it for this episode of AI Learned. Evan does Code Bullet? Yep. Nailed that. I've still got a bunch of stuff left to do for this program. I've still got to integrate the editor and the program together and make it all sexy. So in the next episode, I'll be doing that. I'll also probably try out a few more creatures, see how they can learn to walk. If you have any ideas for creatures which you want me to build and then AIify, leave them in the comments. And if you're thinking giant dick monster, let me just say, I'm way ahead of you. Also, we just finished doing a Code Bullet puzzle thing my Discord channel put on, and it was amazing, but this video is already really fucking long, and I want to do it justice, so that'll be in the next video. I'll be shouting out those people who won. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check it out on Discord, check it out on Twitter. I sent out a bunch of stuff. Yeah, so I'll be explaining that in the next episode. Bye. Hey guys, what's up? It's been a while. I hope you've been well. Hope you had a great Christmas and got plenty of Christmas shit. Nice intro, bro. Well, you. I won't do an intro then. Aww. Nah, too late. You. I'm sorry, please. It's already done. You've lost intro privileges. Let's get right into it. Welcome to the main event of the evening. In the blue corner, weighing in at about 8,000 lines of code, which is a complete guess because I can't be fucked counting. We have the thing I made. In the red corner, weighing in at 1.9 million subs, we have my audience.